Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this initial review of tonight's Smackdown. Plenty for us to get our teeth into. It felt like a show that had a lot of talking points, just a lot of things that were going on, a lot of backstage moments, a lot of storylines that were progressing, and of course that big main event segment where we finally got Cody and Roman face to face with no one else around until the very end of the show. But let's start, shall we? This was Cody arriving earlier in the day. And we basically went to our first match, which was this. Rey Mysterio taking on Santos Escobar. And I thought there was a really good Santos video package. There was a few video packages tonight that I thought were really good. There was a Santos one just before this match. Later on in the show, there was a Jade Cargill one. She announced she is now a SmackDown superstar. We are going to see her next week on Friday. That will be her first official appearance as a SmackDown superstar. I thought the video package for that was done very well as well. So this first match was Rey taking on Santos Escobar. It was a bit botchy, this, to be honest. Just at the start, Rey slipping on the ropes, just losing his balance a little bit at times, looking a little bit wobbly. Ring rust, I don't think is unfair to say. There were some nice moments in the match as well, though. Basically, it ended when this troublemaker got involved. Dominic Mysterio getting involved. And obviously, we don't know quite where this is going to lead. We don't know quite where this is going to go. Is it going to be Rey Dominic again at WrestleMania? A lot of us thought it could be Andrade against Dominic. Dominic getting back involved in this story after being away from like not getting involved in his dad for a while. Feels a little bit like history repeating itself. I'll be very interested to know why Dominic has got back involved in this. And if it is to be a rematch at WrestleMania, maybe this time Dominic wins if it's to be a rematch. Don't know that it's going to be a rematch if it's to be a rematch. But yeah, I think this was not a bad match in places. Little bit botchy at the start. The finish, a little bit disappointing because of the outside interference, but I'm very interested to see where this is going to lead. I did not expect Dominic Mysterio to get involved. There was also a push Dijak sign that Dijak saw on social media, and he was pointing to it in a post and like giving an ear out, like, I can't quite hear you, say it louder. So he was having a lot of fun with the push Dijak sign that was shown. So here we go. Look, even WWE said this wasn't on our 2024 bingo card. So what's this situation? What's this? What's going on here? Santos Escobar, did he just arrange for Dominic to get involved? Was this like an insurance policy? Don't know. Very interesting. Right, we also had Bayley and Naomi backstage. So Bayley and Naomi were talking. Bayley thanked Naomi for helping her last week. Bianca interrupted and said, "You're not sorry. You deserve everything that's coming your way." So she was making it very clear that she had no time for Bayley. She was shown later, Bianca talking to Naomi and saying, look, you just don't know what it's been like. And Naomi said, look, if I could rewind the past, I would. But this is where we are now. You know, I might not be able to do this on my own. You couldn't do this on your own. Like, we need to bring down damage control kind of a situation. And you could see that Bianca was thinking about that. So I liked all this backstage work that we were doing with, you know, you can see the situation Bianca's in. She doesn't have any time for Bayley, but she really hates damage control as well. So, you know, it was fun. I liked it. I thought that was good work. Then we went to our next match. This was Good Brothers against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. There wasn't much time for this match. This came out with a 91% rating. It was a win for Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. He won by cheating, got his foot on the ropes. So this got 91% good. Our first match, the Rey Santos match, that got 92% good. So people slightly, ever so slightly, preferring the first match to the second match. Backstage, we had Iyo attacking Bayley. Naomi was out in the ring, waiting for Iyo to come out. And Iyo didn't appear because backstage she was attacking Bayley. We also had a really cool Bron Breakker video package. Remember we spoke earlier about some really great video packages tonight. Love the one for Santos. Love the one for Jade Cargill. There was a great Bron Breakker one as well, where it was like new level of performance. It showed that he was lifting like 100 kg for like 30 odd reps, and it was going through like how far he can jump, and it had Heyman saying the future is Bron Breakker. Really made him appear like this massive star. So really enjoyed that. Thought that was excellent. Then we went to our next match, and our next match, of course, was Naomi. She was taking on Iyo. So Naomi against Iyo. It was a win for Iyo. Lots of outside interference. And so a win for Iyo. That got a 95% good rating. So that was the best match so far. 95% good rating. Lots of outside interference. And we did get Bianca Belair coming down, Damage Control, getting around Naomi, beating her up. Bianca made the save. She absolutely planted Kairi Sane here, and I don't know if Kairi didn't bust her lip open, because she really was checking on her mouth after she like face planted. So I really don't know if there was like an injury that was caused there. But as we said, it was a win for Iyo. They were beating down on Naomi. Bianca came to make a save. Then we got Asuka misting Naomi. And so Damage Control basically stand tall. Bayley couldn't come to the aid because she was attacked backstage. So it explains why she couldn't help out. And so Damage Control continuing to run riot, which is good because we know that Bianca, Naomi, Bayley, they're all going to have to get on the same page to deal with this problem. And maybe someone can help them, because at the moment that would still be 3-on-4. You know, you've got Asuka, Kairi, you've got Asuka, you got Kairi, you've got Dakota, you've got Iyo, and we did see Asuka on this show, by the way. Obviously, we didn't know if there was an injury or what the issue was there. We haven't heard anything there, but she was on this show. She seemed to be okay. So there's 4 in Damage Control. Bayley, Bianca, and Naomi is only 3. They need one more person. Here's Jade Cargill, who has announced that she is now a SmackDown superstar, and next week she's going to be making her first appearance officially as a SmackDown superstar. If only we could find a 4th person to join up with Naomi and Bianca and Bayley to, you know, try and bring down Damage Control. Don't know. But good to see that Jade Cargill is now on SmackDown. Backstage, we had this moment. So we had Pretty Deadly. They were making fun of Kevin Owens. Owens said that, how about, like, we have a match? He said, I'll get my partner. He said, what do you think about that? Camera panned over. There was Randy Orton. And so Randy and Kevin against Pretty Deadly is made for next week. Nick Aldis said, I wouldn't stand that close together to Pretty Deadly, as Kevin Owens knocked them both out with one punch, much like he did with Theory and Grayson, like months ago now. So that was a fun little backstage moments. As well as that backstage, we also had Cody talking to Nick Aldis. In the background was Paul Heyman just peering out from behind on his phone, call Roman Reigns. So we had that. And also they announced about the Bray Wyatt documentary, and we saw a load of fireflies in the arena. Always great to see that. So yeah, awesome. Really enjoyed that. Right, we saw then this moment. So we had AJ Styles. I don't know why they didn't show this on social media before SmackDown, but I never saw this before SmackDown. SmackDown was the first place I saw this footage. So AJ was at home, and LA Knight came round. He was beeping on the horn. AJ Styles went out front. There was a brawl in the garden. LA Knight was the one that got arrested. We did see AJ's wife come out. So this was round AJ's house. And I like the idea of us doing something away from arenas, away from the ring, away from backstage areas, actually going around someone's house. I like that. I think WrestleMania, the build needs that. It needs more of those moments. We didn't really do loads here, though. You know, LA Knight didn't really, like, they weren't rolling around on the grass for ages. The police arrived real quick. And we saw dash cam footage, body cam footage. It was done well, but I don't think we really let it breathe that much. You know, I think we could have done more fighting, more action, and then had the police break it up. So basically it was LA Knight being arrested. And he was in the back of the car and basically just, you know, threatening away. So, yeah, it was fun, but I was probably hoping for a bit more. I was hoping for them to let it breathe a bit longer. Then we went to our next match. I thought the ring gear for Dawkins in particular just didn't work, man. He looked like a luchador cosplayer. I thought Montez's looked better than Dawkins. Wasn't feeling Dawkins. I thought both of their entrance gear just looked like something Seth Rollins would reject. This just is not the right presentation for this group for me. I'm looking for classy. When I think Bobby, I think sharp suits. I think classy. I think that with Montez as well. I think Montez is a good, well-dressed guy. I'd imagine B-Fab is. We know that Angelo Dawkins likes his sportswear, but I really expected it all to be classy. Hurt Business 2.0 type stuff. I gotta say, the presentation is just not right. It's just not right for me. But this was a match to see who would go through to the next round in this tournament to try and figure out who's going to represent SmackDown in that six-pack tag team ladder match. Yes, it was a win for Street Profits. So that now means that next week the Street Profits will take on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, with the winners going on to WrestleMania. I think there's a real good chance that AOP get involved in that match, cost the Street Profits. And so that means that Theory and Grayson will go to Mania, and it means that the Street Profits and AOP, the Pride, Final Testament, they'll end up having their own match as well. This came out with a good 93% rating. Good 93. So I think that was our last match, actually. And so that means that it was the Naomi Iyo match that was the highest rated match of the night, but they were all quite close and they were all just rated as good. So no great matches tonight according to the community. Then we had Roman arriving, so we went to our main segment. This got about half an hour, but obviously it had a lot of adverts. There was Paul Heyman looking lovingly. There was Roman getting in the ring, said he was a man of his word. He said he would come on his own to SmackDown, and, well, he didn't. But in this moment, he said he would. So he was being booed, right? He said, I'm a tribal chief that keeps his word. I'm here alone. Cody came out, and Cody said, look, if you came alone, then I came alone. And Roman said, I think you're a fool. He said, I think you're stupid. You are stupid to me. He says, like, you are not fit to be the face of this company. Like, he says, you're joining up with Seth. And Seth said he's going to be your shields. I was in the Shield with Seth. And I can tell you now, we were not doing good guy things. He said, he stabbed me in the back. Do you really think that you can trust Seth Rollins? And I thought it was a really good question to ask. And Cody responded by saying, I do remember the Shield. And he said, do you know, like, you was unstoppable, you was untouchable. But can you remember the team that finally beat the Shield? Can you remember the first team to do that? Well, their last name was Rhodes. And which I thought was good. And he said, can I trust Seth? He said, he might hate my guts, but he hates you a lot more. He said, Roman, can you trust The Rock? And asked like the same sort of question back. And he said, who's really in charge of the bloodline? Is it the tribal chief or is it the final boss? And Roman said, look, didn't you say that in a different version to him? Is this what you do? You just sort of recycle like your lines? And he went on to say, you're just like a politician. And he said, you know, you promise these people everything. You're full of promises, but you never deliver. You never actually deliver. You make all these promises, but you never deliver. And that's why you're number 2. And he said, I mean that with respect. I'm number 1 forever, and you're number 2. And he said to the crowd, like, all these people wish that they could be number 2. I mean it with respect. But, let's get real. You'll never be me kind of a situation. And Cody responded to that by saying, look, you grew up in this industry like I did, and I have come to accept that our kids will probably grow up wanting to be the next Roman Reigns. Like, that is your destiny. That's what you've achieved. But my destiny is to not be number 2 because I'm the one. So Cody was kind of making himself very clear. What I must say is there's not much here. There's not much here that I think was monumental. There's not many lines here that I think are going to reverberate as we head to WrestleMania. I thought this was a fine segment, a solid segment, a compelling segment, an intriguing segment, a segment that you couldn't take your eyes off. But actually, when all was said and done, the words that were exchanged were pretty standard, pretty normal. You were kind of waiting for a knockout blow that never really arrived. I don't think anyone really cooked anyone. I think it was just a bit of back and forth between like both sides. And for me, the big part of this was obviously Cody put his hand out. Roman looked at it, walked out the ring. It took ages to walk out the ring. Walked out the ring. And then on the outside, he clicked his fingers. And that's when we saw Solo and Jimmy arrive. Solo and Jimmy arrived in the crowd. They kind of came through the crowd and they stood next to Roman. So they came through the crowd and stood next to Roman. I think that was a bit strange because I really thought they were going to attack Cody. They didn't. I think they were just sending a message. They just wanted Cody to know basically what Roman had said at the start, which is, you're a fool, you are stupid, you are not smart enough to be the face of this company. And so I think this was a message to Cody. If we wanted to attack you now, we could attack you now, but we don't want to attack you now because we want to actually hurt you a different way. We want you to know that you are stupid. We want you to know that you are not good enough. We're going to break your will by pointing out to you that you're an idiot because you trusted that Roman was going to come alone and he didn't. But the thing was, Cody outmaneuvered because Cody had a smile on his face, and through the crowd came Jay and Seth Rollins. And the reason why that was important, right? We don't have the image of that, unfortunately, but the reason why that was important was because Cody sent the message right back to Roman. You think you outmaneuvered me. You think you sent a message to me. You didn't send anything because I was prepared. I was ready. I'm not the naive person that you think I am. Or I was. Maybe he was that person last year, but WrestleMania 39 taught him a lot. And he will be ready for whatever the bloodline has planned. That was a big message I think Cody sent right back to Roman. So I do think the presentation was interesting because they still could have had Jimmy and Solo on the edge of the ring just waiting for the order to like get to Cody, holding onto the ropes like ready to get at him. And Roman could have just said, step down, you know. They didn't do that. They just kind of circled round and then went right to Roman's side. So the presentation of that was kind of interesting. But as I said, I think it was more about breaking Cody's will. I think it was more about sending a message to Cody of we could have attacked you if we wanted. But as we know, Cody was ready. So, you know, I think this was a solid episode of SmackDown. I don't think it had many OMG moments. I think that it did have moments. I enjoyed the backstage stuff with Bayley and Bianca and Naomi. I enjoyed the main event segment. In retrospect, it might have missed a big knockout punch, but, you know, it still delivered for me. It still had me captivated. This was a good episode to watch. I was entertained. I think the matches sort of let it down. I think they could have been stronger. I think even the matches were used to further stories with Dominic getting involved, with you know, the damage control getting involved. So for me, I think I'm looking at about a 7, maybe 7.25, kind of around that ballpark. I think it was solid. I don't think it was necessarily spectacular, but I'll take it. I'll take it. We move on to Raw on Monday. And we're in Chicago, I believe, and we've got CM Punk. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. And before we know it, it'll be time for The Rock to come back because he's going to be on Raw on April 1st. Don't know that we've got Roman next week or Rock next week on SmackDown. So I'm really not sure about next week's SmackDown. But it doesn't matter. Time is running out. We are getting closer all the time towards WrestleMania 40. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Highest scoring match was the Iyo Naomi match. I'm scoring it a 7.25, around that sort of ballpark. And that was it. That was this week's SmackDown. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick initial reaction, initial review. Leave your thoughts below, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.